I've dealt with a lot of companies in the past. This was by far the worst experience I've had, and it is such a long story and it tells so many different aspects. But I'm going to try to make it as brief as I possibly can. But it just kept getting worse and worse and worse and worse. But I will try to summarize what happened as best as I can. There were two main issues that I was dealing with. One is I had to change the dates of my travel. We're going from Los Angeles to Rome. I had to change my plane ticket twice, and then I had to change my hotel date. So the first time I had to change my plane ticket, they charged me $684 in penalty, which was expected. That was fine. That was normal. And that was $684 for two tickets for me and my son. So then I had to change the date again. So I made a call on Saturday, May 27th at 6:16 p.m. This call lasted 3 hours and 26 minutes. And the agent quoted me an $819 penalty. It was the same airline, the same flight, the same day. It was just a different date. But she wouldn't explain to me why there was a $200 difference in the airfare. But I accepted that because I needed it. Then I specifically asked her, "Is that 819 cost ticket dollars for both tickets?" She said yes, and it made sense because the last time it was 684 for two tickets. So she said, "Yes, ma'am, for two tickets." And she said, "Do I have your permission to authorize your credit card?" I said, "Yes." Then I was transferred to a supervisor to talk about the different issue that I'm going to talk about. And the supervisor said, "I see that your credit card has been charged $1,638. I said, "I'm sorry, why is that?" She said, "Well, that's $819 a ticket for two tickets." And I said, "No, no, no, no." She said per ticket. I specifically asked her. Very nonchalantly, the supervisor says, "Oh, she must have misunderstood you." I said, "I'm sorry, I just paid $819 because she misunderstood me." I never would have accepted that if it was that much. My whole point was so we didn't have to pay extra for the hotels there. This is way more than the hotel. There's no way I would have accepted that. He's like, "Well, you've already authorized this." I said, "No, that's not acceptable. I have the agent's name. I gave her this. I gave her everything." She said, "We're going to review the recordings, and the corporate office, a guy by the name of Andrew, will call you within 5 to 7 business days." Now, this was on May 27th. Suffice it to say, he never called me and never got a call from me. Now, let's put that on hold for a second. While I'm waiting for Andrew to call me, there was a hotel issue. All I had to do, I wasn't trying to get a refund. I was trying to actually add 6 extra nights in Rome, but different from the original 2 nights that I had booked. I was trying to explain these to the agents, and they kept saying it's non-refundable. I said, "I'm not trying to get a refund. I'm trying to do an exchange. And second of all, according to my itinerary, it is refundable, but that's not even what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to exchange it." Now, for this took an entire week of calling every day and talking to 5 different agents. They said they were going to take care of it. On June 6th, I called to make sure everything was taken care of because I hadn't heard from them. Per their own notes, they said that I had called on May 29th to rebook at the same hotel, and they would call the hotel and take care of it. And they said that they were supposed to call on May 21st and talk to the manager. They never did, and I had to call on June 9th and start the whole process over again. On that day, after talking to 2 agents, I was transferred to 2 supervisors. I was on hold for 2 hours and 56 minutes. First supervisor was Mark, the second one was Paul. And Paul says to me, "It's not the right time in Rome, so we cannot talk to the right person." I said, "It took you 2.5 hours to figure out that it's not the right time and that you don't have the right person to talk to. Did you get the name of the person you're supposed to speak to?" And this has been going on for 2 weeks. I said, "For 2 weeks, you haven't been able to figure out that this is not what the right time in Rome would be?" So she says, "Ma'am, call us at 1 a.m. and we'll try then." I said, "Why can't you call them at whatever time you're supposed to? Take care of it and then call me back." Then he says, "Let me try them again right now." I said, "I've been on hold for 2.5 hours and you just told me it's not the right time and the person isn't there. Why would you call them again right now?" Without answering me, he puts me on hold for another 56 minutes. We get cut off, and they were supposed to call me back once we got cut off at a phone number I'd given them. I waited 45 minutes, no call back, so I had to call again. Every single time I would call, I would have to talk to a new agent. They would never give me a last name. The most I got was an initial, Alice M. They never gave me a last name. They didn't have any extensions. So every time I would call an agent, I would say I need to speak to like Alice or Mars. They would say we don't know who you're talking about. No last name, no extensions. So each agent I would talk to, I had to explain the whole thing over again. They supposedly had notes in front of them, but their notes were nowhere close to what I was trying to say. None of them spoke English properly. The first one, because she didn't speak English properly, cost me $819 in penalty. And they told me twice that we will get back to you first thing tomorrow morning. They never returned my call. And when I would follow up, again, they said, we'll call you back tomorrow the next morning. First thing tomorrow morning. I said, first thing tomorrow morning, whose time? Do you even know where I am? No answer. I said, where are you? What state are you in? No answer. Then I said, are you in the United States? They said, no, ma'am, we're not in the United States. I said, well, where are you? He completely changed the subject. So I said, so first thing tomorrow morning basically means nothing because I don't know where you are and you don't know where I am and you've never given me a call back. So I was okay. So finally, the hotel thing, after all this ordeal was taken care of, they talked to the person in Rome. And when they talked to the person, it took 5 minutes for Rome to say, oh, I see what she's doing. She's actually staying extra. It took 5 minutes basically. But they just weren't getting the times right, and I had to do all the legwork. So then we get back to, I told them to transfer to the corporate office. They never wanted to transfer me. I kept having to go stay on hold and hold and hold. Finally, they transferred me to the corporate office about the airline issue. 3.5 hour hold again. And I talked to a woman named Lauren, and she had told me, or someone had told me 2 weeks ago, that it would take them 5 to 7 days to review the recording. But when I spoke to Lauren, within 5 minutes, she apparently had listened to the entire 3.5 hour recording, and she said that nothing can be done because I had authorized the ticket. I said I did authorize the ticket, but for $819. So, and I have more names, July 6th, Stephanie corporate office. So this was my final conversation with Laura on the 7th. I said, so the part of the conversation where I asked the agent if that's 819 for both tickets, and she said that is correct, ma'am. And after that, I authorized the payment. The supervisor said that she had just charged me $1,638. That's not your problem. And my question and her response prior to the authorization is basically null and void. She says to me, yes, ma'am, that is basically correct. And I said, so logistically, I cannot do anything because I gave an authorization of a amount I was misinformed about. I'm paying extra because your agent did not understand me. I've already paid almost $2,000 in penalties, including for a price difference in the same exact flight, the same exact day of the week, time of departure, and arrival. I've been dealing with this daily for 2 weeks. I have had to explain the situation to over 15 agents, supervisors, corporate managers. I have never received callbacks I was promised. I've been on hold anywhere from 1 to 3.5 hours each time. I had to do all the legwork that your agent has to do, and you can't do anything about this. You cannot compensate me in any way. She said, no, ma'am. I said, you can't even apologize? She said, well, I'm sorry, with an attitude. I said, I see your customers are very important to you and you have top-notch consumer um, service. She's like, I'm sorry. Click. She just hung up on me. I mean, it was a nightmare to say the least. The money that I was charged, the times that I was put on hold, them not understanding English, their rudeness, their lack of logic. I said to them, can I call the hotel and talk to them directly? No, you're going through us, so we have to do the calling. Well, then do it.